Yeah, there's photographs in here. They're real photos of things that happened. What else, Amrita? The glossary and the index back in the back of the book. Ava?
It looks real.
It does look real. It does. So those are all some of the things that help us know this is nonfiction. All right, you did outstanding. Oh, Aiden. Maybe the title would help you know. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it's tricky. All right, so now let's talk about this book really quick. It's also about Jackie Robinson. But how would you explain to somebody else what type of book this is? What would, again, you say to them about testing the ice? Shlok.
It's nonfiction. The genre is nonfiction.
It is nonfiction, but it's a little different than this one. And that's what I want you to tell me, what makes it a little different. Because it's not really just a fact book, Luke.
It's got drawings.
Yeah. Yeah, there are illustrations, so they're drawings. What would you say, Evan?
It's like nonfiction that's made into like a book.
Into a
Like
So what do we call that? You've been listening to them forever, since you were babies. Mia?
realistic fiction.
Well, it is realistic in the fact that it could happen, but it's a true what? It's a true what? Nora? It's a true story. Yeah, so it reads like a story, and I think that that's maybe what you were getting at. There's not captions in here. There's not photographs. There's drawings. There's not a glossary. There's not a table of contents. So we call this narrative nonfiction because it reads like a story. All right, any questions? All right, so here's what we're going to do next. I need you to take your mat because today we're going to do fan and pick. So yes, I know we like fan and pick. So if you would flip your mat over. Okay, attention please. 5. All right, here's what I need you to do. If the Jackie Robinson book is in your way, one person, just slide it in the top of your desk. Not the baggie though. You need the baggie. And make sure that the person who's sitting in the spot that Shlok is in, make sure that they are the number 2 right now on your mat. So adjust your mat so that the person in Shlok's spot is the 2. Okay, and so if you are the fan person, if you're number 1, it's your job to fan the cards. So go ahead and take them out of your bag and do that. And before I have you pick, I need to tell you what we're actually going to be working on today. Everybody look at me. When we're finished with today's conversations in your groups, we are really going to be able to know how these 2 texts are alike and how they're different. We're going to compare and contrast them. And we already did that a little bit when we were talking about what type of book they are. But there's a lot of stuff in terms of our thinking that we also want to compare and contrast. So that's what's going to happen, and that's hopefully where we'll be when we finish. Got it? Good. All right, so we're going to change fan and pick just a little bit because I want us to all talk about the same question. So the person who is fanning them, you do your job, and if you are the pick person, I am going to ask you to pick the blue card. So go ahead and pick the blue card. And at this point, the person who picks, you know how it works, right? You're going to read the question, and I want you to have some conversation within your group. Read it out loud, and then have conversation working through the jobs on the fan and pick. Who has the most important job? Which one? Which number has the most important job, Nora? 4, because you're the responder. Now, can other people respond after the responder?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's actually necessary. It's not just one person saying the answer. All right, go. Or perspective. Okay, attention please. 5, 4. Are you finished with your conversation? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to share. Okay. So if you are the number 2 in your group, I would like you to come to the front of the room. And you don't have to bring the question, I guess, because we all have the same one. So you can leave it at your desk. But everybody come up to the front. All right, so before we start, just to clarify for everybody, who wants to read the question out loud? Mia, you read the question and read it really loud so everybody can hear.
How has your point of view changed as you combine Jackie Robinson, strong inside and out, and research facts with a family story testing the ice?
Okay, so as you put the 2 stories together with what we learned from the nonfiction, the facts, and we collected all of our facts up here, and as you put the 2 together, how has your point of view changed? Or we've been talking about perspective. What maybe changed in your mind about Jackie? Anybody volunteer to go first? Don't jump at once. Anybody want to go? Shlok. Go ahead. How was your point of view maybe changed, or how was it altered a little bit as you read the 2 stories?
My point of view changed because of like in Jackie Robinson's Facts Inside and Out, it has like facts and stuff, and it has like chapters with facts
Okay.
and real pictures. But in Testing the Ice, it's like a picture book story.
Okay, so what changed for you, though, in your opinion, about Jackie Robinson? Did anything change? Did you start to think about him differently?
Yeah,
How?
because Jackie Robinson couldn't swim.
Right. He couldn't swim. And was that something that we knew from the fact book?
No.
No. But what else? How else might it have changed? Noah, can you kind of add to that?
I think my point of view was changed when I saw that they were friends with some white people. I'm like, wow, so those white people actually believe that black people are the same as white.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because there was evidence in Testing the Ice that everybody can be friends. So that's a very cool thing. How else did we see Jackie differently in Testing the Ice? From whose perspective was the story told? William?
In Jackie Robinson's Drawing Inside and Out,
it was talking about him as a baseball player, but in testing the eyes, it was just like the family, like he really wasn't never a baseball player.
Yeah, that was the huge thing. I'm so glad that you caught that. Jackie Robinson, the nonfiction book, it was all about the whole baseball thing. But in testing the ice, it was about him as a dad. You know, and we all have dads. We may not all have famous baseball players in our families, but we all have dads. And so I think what it did for me is it made it even more real. Anybody else agree with that, Lucas? Did it make it more real for you to read Testing the Ice and learn about him as a dad?
Yeah.
You feel that it did? Noah?
Now I know why you said it's told by a whole different perspective. One's baseball and one is being.
Woo! That's exactly what we wanted. Good deal. All right, you guys sit down. So now we're ready for round 2 of fan and pick. So move your mat, shift it because now you have a different job. 3G. Right now in round 2, if you're the fan person, you're going to hold them out. The pick person, you're going to pick the pink card. You may go.
Daughter write a story about her famous baseball father that was not about baseball.
Who's the responder? So what would you say to her about that? Okay, then can you repeat so he can hear? Because remember, his job is to respond to what you have to say because we're all talking about it. Go ahead.
He's a good dad too.
Nice. Love that. Nice. All right, attention please. 5, 4. Okay, everybody finished with discussion? Yeah. For the most part, maybe you could have, how many of you could have talked about it a little longer? You would have liked more time. Okay, maybe the next time we'll slow down a little bit. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before, but this time, if you are the 4 in your group, I would like you to come to the front of the room. Yes, the 4, the responder is coming to the front. And then I need a volunteer to read the question and read it loud and clear so we're all very sure we know what we're talking about. Evan.
Why would Jackie's daughter write a story about her famous baseball father who was not about baseball?
Okay. So why would she do this? Why would she write about this awesome, famous dad? Aubrey, what do you think?
Because she doesn't really brag about how her dad is a famous baseball player. She just loves how she is his daughter and how he is her father and how strong he is.
Great answer. Leela.
Because he did something brave by walking on the ice when he couldn't swim.
Yeah. What was that brave thing? Well, I guess you just said it. He walked on the ice. And he couldn't swim. And so I think that that's really important for us to stop and think about that. And you, both of the ladies said it very well. She knew him in a little bit different way. Charlie?
Even though he was a famous baseball player, she wanted everyone to know that he's just not a famous baseball player. He's a great dad, too. He's a famous dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. How many of you feel like you have a famous dad just because he's so cool and he does things that are brave? I do. Yeah, I do. And so that's why she wanted the world to know. How many of you would love to write a story about how great your dad is and have everybody read it? Exactly. And I think that that's what she was thinking about as a daughter. Hey, this is my dad, and this is something that happened in our family. And I know he's famous for baseball, but here's something else. Anybody want to add to that? Wow, you guys hit a home run. Hit it out of the park.
Grand slam.
Grand slam. All right, sit down. Nice job. You guys are doing excellent. I love looking in your brains. So swivel your card. If you are the fan person, do your job. The pick person this time is going to pick green. You may go. But how? Go give some evidence from the text. But what was that brave thing? You keep saying brave thing, but what do you mean by that? Yeah. Absolutely. So you look at that in both of those books. There was a brave thing in each of those books that was different, but they were both brave. Right? Okay, attention please. 5, 4. It's hard to stop talking, isn't it, when you're in a good conversation? Okay. This time I would like the number 2s. If you are a 2, would you please come to the front? And then I need a wonderful volunteer in the audience to read the question loud and clear. Charlie D.
How did Jackie show bravery in professional and private life?
How did he show bravery in his professional and private life? Who wants to give it a shot? Let's have Dan.
Because in one story, he did something like for his private life. He walked on ice for his children to play skating. On the other one, he was opening doors for African Americans.
Okay. And so what about both of those things? So could we say, oh, well, no big deal? What about those two things that he did?
They were very brave of him.
Yeah, was very brave. Very brave. Anybody want to add to that? Evan?
He was brave when, like, he was walking on the ice. He rather fall in the water than the kids falling in, because he'd be more sad about the kids. And he was being brave, and he was also being brave in Jack Rabbit's stronging out, because he was like trying to let other African Americans come also be able to play professional baseball.
Yeah. And let us just remember that in that book, we learned about something that was going on in that time period in the country that made that hard. What was that called? Those of you out here, what was it called at that time, in that time period in our country? Mia? Segregation. And so what was it when Jackie decided to be brave and we say that he opened doors for others? Why, what do you exactly mean by that? What did we read was the risk that he was taking? Quinn?
He was like opening doors, not like opening that type of door. He was opening doors so that black people could do sports and ride in the front of a bus.
Exactly, but why did he need to be brave to do that? Why was that such a big deal? Why did that take some great courage and some really big time bravery? Luke?
Because the white people didn't want the black people to do any of that.
Okay. Evan, you want to add to it?
He can't fight back.
There you go. Remember, who was it that he talked with a lot? Who was it that he talked to a lot about that whole thing, Nora? Branch Rickey. Who was that guy?
He was a white person that really believed in Jackie.
Yeah, he really believed in him, and he was the manager of the Dodgers, correct? Okay, and so he told him that you cannot fight back. He made that very clear, and we talked a lot about how hard that would have been. Okay, so I think that we can definitely see some connections between those two stories. All right, you guys may have a seat. You did a nice job. And last but not least, we're going to do round 4, so shift your mat. And then there's only one card. Can you put that away? You having a hard time with that one? Kevin, you are the you answer the question. You're the responder. Okay, but sometimes when somebody is struggling with the answer, what is the job of the rest of the people in the group? So can you give him some ideas? Can you guys help him? Because remember, it becomes everybody's job in the group if somebody's stuck on a question. You think the whole group is stuck? Well, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes questions are hard.
That's exactly why I said.
So how does testing the ice and the information provided in that story differ from the other Jackie Robinson resources? So that word differ means, how are they different?
Because Jackie Robinson facts and like real pictures.
Okay, and so how is testing the ice different?
Testing the ice, it's like he's like a great father, and it's not telling about him.
Okay. Responder, what would you say to that?
This is why I said one is about like his wife and the other
Are you guys finished? Yeah, okay. Are you guys finished? All right, attention please. Did you think this question was hard?
Yes.
All right. Well, and that's why a lot of times when we're reading text that's difficult and there's that connection there and you're trying to do some hard thinking, sometimes more than one brain is necessary. Sometimes more than one brain is a good thing. All right, this is our last round, so I would like the fours to come to the front. If you are a 4 in this round, I need everybody to turn their voices off. And we need to be good listeners, so that means we're looking up here in the front. Eye contact. Okay, so who would like to read the question aloud? Leela?
How does testing the ice and the information provided in that story differ from the other Jackie Robinson resources?
So that word differ. Maybe that was the part that was hard. How are they different? Okay, what do you think? Who wants to give that a shot? Aiden, you're the man.
I think they're different because one's about like his famous baseball life and how he did on his stuff, and the other's about his life with his life as a dad.
Okay, so one's about baseball and one's about being a dad. Do you guys agree with that? Okay. Any other reasons that the way that they're different? Anybody want to add to that? Anybody out here have an idea? Shlok?
In one of the stories, it tells about him as a baseball player and like that, and in testing the ice, it tells like he's like a good father and a good dad.
Charlie?
In testing the ice, he sacrificed his life for his kids.
He sure did. And you bring up a really good point, Charlie. He sacrificed his life for his kids. Was he sacrificing anything? What do you think? Was he sacrificing anything then in his baseball life? As a baseball player and what he was doing? Was there a sacrifice there? What do you think, Nora?
I think it was because he sacrificed himself to play on the baseball team, and white people couldn't hurt him.
Mm-hmm. People could have hurt him, and he had to sacrifice. You know, he endured a lot of name calling and a lot of hardships. And so we talked about what he sacrificed when we were reading that book. Does anybody remember what that is? It's the way you feel about yourself. Begins with a P. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember? It was a while ago. Charlie? Nope. That begins with P, though. Amritha? Well, and he was persistence. But when you feel good about yourself, Matthew? Proud. He sacrificed his pride. Okay, so I think that in those two stories, he was sacrificing different things. One was maybe, his own safety, his life, but yet it was sort of the same thing in the other book. It was his pride, but it could have been his life as well. All right, you guys did an excellent job. You guys may have a seat. And I want you to just put the bags in the center. And if you were the person that put the book inside your desk, please get that out. And inside the book, there are some pages that I want you to pull out. And I want everybody to get one of those sheets that's inside the Testing the Ice book. When you get that, please put your name on it. Okay. Yeah, just stay in your spot, either way. 3G. At this point, you're going to start working in your teams, and you're going to think about now all of this information that we have about Jackie Robinson. We've talked a ton about all of these facts that we learned about him over the course of the two books. So this is what we call our evidence. This is how we know that what we're saying about something is true, because we found it within the text. And so your job, if you look at this, it's a character map, because we're going to really think about how we would describe Jackie Robinson to somebody who may not know him, somebody who may not have read these two books. And so at the top of the character map, I would like you to write Jackie Robinson. And it's right here, so you want to make sure that you spell his name correctly. So copy that down in the big bubble at the top, because he is our character. And when we say character, in the past we always think of that as a made-up person, but we would also say that in our story that we read, he is the person that the story is about. So we use that same word. Now you notice the word trait. Trait 1, trait 2, trait 3. There are 3 bubbles and they're kind of shaded gray. Those are going to be 3 words that you would use to describe Jackie Robinson. And that's where I want you to really think about that, and I want you to talk that over with your shoulder partner. Your conversation is going to be with your shoulder partner. So you're going to decide on 3 words that would describe Jackie, and those 3 words are going to go in the shaded bubble. If you notice, then hanging off of the shaded bubble, there are 3 boxes with that word that we hear all the time now. It's called evidence. Because if you're going to use a word to describe Jackie, you have to give reasons why. And those reasons can't be just something you make up. You can't just say, oh, well, he's nice. Well, of course he's nice. Or you can't say, oh, he's awesome. Oh, he's really cool. Because there's not evidence of that. Those are more opinions, right? So you are going to think about the evidence that you know to be true, and you can use the poster to help you. You can use the books to help you. And you're going to fill out the character map. You may not get this finished. We're going to work on this for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, and then we're going to be done. We'll finish this later, but I want you to get started on it. Sitting in the middle of your groups are some of those words that we've been talking about, some of our vocabulary words that we've talked about through this whole unit. All right, so you may go. You may begin. He can just join in with you two. Okay, so the three of you. Cameron, you can join in with these three. Okay, make sure it's spelled right. William, sit please. What's the problem?
You were saying that one book is theirs.
No, we're not going to fight over books because we're all going to share them. Yeah, but instead of doing that, how about you get busy? Well, but you still have to put words here that you can't copy off of the chart. But yes, those things there are can be some of your evidence. But you need to get busy. You're wasting lots of time. Okay, you guys are totally on the right track, but when you say he never gave up,
Some people may think he gave up.
no, you need to be more specific. How did he never give up? So, like, what I would think about is never giving up was when people were calling him names. That's what you need to also add into that box. Because that's what's from the text, is that people were calling him bad names. That's what I want, is what comes from the text. Got it? Okay, you're totally on the right track. Okay, so you guys have a great start. So now that you have teamwork, what evidence from the text shows you that he worked as a team? He worked in a team. Okay, he was on a baseball team. That's one of a more obvious one. Okay, and Leela, like you guys right here, what you did is you just took the definition, and that's part of that. What I want for your evidence is, how do you know that he was fair? What evidence from the text showed you that he was fair? Okay, I want something really specific that came right from those two texts. Does that make sense? So you are totally on the right track. Give me evidence. Nora, what do you have there next by determination? Okay, what you did is you just wrote the definition. How in the text was he determined? You need to give me an example from the story, not just the definition off of here. Like, can you think of a time in either one of the stories that he was determined? Give me something really specific. Okay, and so he was determined to do it. Okay, that's what you put in the box. Okay, 3G, can I have your attention, please? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but something that I want to clarify, because I've noticed a mistake that some of you are making. You're just putting a very general comment in the evidence box, like maybe you're just copying the definition of the word, and that's not what I want you to do. I want you to think about the story. And what is your evidence from the story? You need to give me something very specific that happened within the story that proves. So if you're saying Jackie is determined, I agree. But you can't just say he was determined because he stuck with it and didn't give up. That's the definition of determined. What shows us in the stories, the two stories? I can think of probably 5 things, boom, 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 that show determination. That's what I want you to put. Keep going. You have about 3 or 4 minutes. Eventually, I want you to. Right now, you're probably not going to have enough time. But yes, and you can look in the books to help you. Good, I love that answer. That is right from the book. That's awesome. Let me see, Aiden. Okay, yep. How are you guys doing over here? You're supposed to work with your shoulder partner. Good, then you're right on task. Good, Charlie. Nice job, right from the text. You guys doing okay? Think of all the things that happened in the stories. That's what you're writing in those boxes. What's up, hon? Which one? How did he do that? You just said he did it. What proves that he did it? What happened in the story? You're giving big answers. I want you to get down and give me something that is a detail about how did he do that. You said that he did that. How? That's what you write. This is not easy work. This isn't something that you can fill in 2 seconds. I want you to really think about how did he do that? You're totally on the right track, but you're going to have to dig down and do some more thinking about that. What proves, what do we know that he did? Why aren't you guys moving forward?
We're on justice.
Okay. All right, well, you don't have much time left, so see if you can do as much thinking as possible in the next 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes, boys and girls. Remember, the expectation is not for you to finish. Are you guys okay?
I didn't know there's 2 more.
There's 3 pieces of evidence for each one. And what you want to think about is maybe picking something from each book. You can use both books. Good. Awesome. Can I use yours as an example? Can I use yours? Awesome. All right, 3G. Attention, please. Okay, at this point, we're going to wrap it up. Okay, but I want to use somebody's sheet as an example. All right, and I asked permission, Charlie and Paige, they did a really nice job. On the persistence, they picked persistence as one of Jackie's traits. Did anybody else pick persistence? Okay. Yep, got it. And so the evidence that they picked, or that they wrote down, They said that Jackie did not give up when he was called names. Does that show persistence? Is that what? Well, it's on your page right there. Persistence. You don't ever give up. So was he called names in the story?
Yeah.
Did he stop because somebody called him a name?
No.
Does that show persistence?
Yes.
Is that right from the text?
Yes.
Yes. The other thing they put is that he didn't quit when he was booed. People were booing. So they called him names. They booed. Both of those are very specific. And the third thing is from testing the ice. When the big bubble came up and it went boom, and everybody was scared, and there was that moment where they thought, oh no, the ice is cracking. Did he run?
No.
No. He stayed right there. He never gave up, and he tapped it a couple more times, and then he knew we were safe, that the ice was okay. Those are very specific things that happened in the books, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay, nice job, you two. So to end our lesson, we're going to stop right now, and we'll move back into this later. If you have a book open, would you please close that? Okay, so in summary, everybody look at me. We did some comparing and contrasting of the two stories. We looked and answered a lot of questions. How are they the same and how are they different? Who can tell me, I'm going to pick 3 people to give me something that you will always remember about Jackie Robinson or about perspectives, because this is our unit theme. This is why we were reading the Jackie Robinson books, because it's totally about perspectives. Okay, so what will you take with you, Luke?
He tried his best.
Jackie tried his best. Aiden.
He sacrificed something for me.
He sacrificed. Absolutely. Nora. He was the first African American to play baseball. Let's shift. I'm going to ask 3 more people my second question. And the second question was, what about your perspective? What did you learn about different points of view and different perspective? Things aren't always what they seem. Luke?
That he couldn't swim.
So, but how was that perspective? You're right. I think you're totally right. You want to think about it for a minute? Okay, Noah?
I changed my perspective that he couldn't swim, and it seemed like he could do all these brave things, but he just can't swim.
Okay. Did people have different opinions about Jackie?
Yes.
Yeah. And you can identify with some of those opinions. Charlie?
Kind of with the black people and the white people.
So that was perspective. Looking at it from their point of view, from a black person's point of view, but then from a white person's point of view. Okay, yes.
White people don't like him, and then black people do, and only like some people, like some white people like Jackie Robinson, but most of them don't, and then all black people like him. So everybody has a different perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I'm glad that you did clarify. There were a lot of white people that were rooting for Jackie. And so it was all about that opinion. Yes?
Like some white people, when he went to the games and he was playing, some white people booed him, and then when you're in testing with the ice, there's a couple of white people that's asking him questions about all of his career and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they like him.
Absolutely. So we've learned a lot of things by studying these books and this whole idea of multiple perspectives. You guys did a very nice job. And so at this point we are finished. And I would like for you to start collecting the supplies. And I want you to put your character map in your accordion file in the reading section and take all the supplies and put them on the table. You may get your water bottles. guys did a good job.